What's good, y'all? Yeah, I still got Giles' music playing in the background. I figured it's only right. It's only right. Oh my God, it's been a little bit, huh? It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit. My voice, it sounds like it's back. I'm still drinking my tea. It sounds like it's back, but. All right, Gal, you're going to have to shut the fuck up now. Shut the fuck up now, Gal. I got a hat on. I mean, the hair peeking out, but damn it, I ain't about to fight somebody right now. What's going on, y'all? How's it going? How's it going, God damn it? How is it going? Yeah, it's Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 vibes. How's it going? How's it going, y'all? How's it going? We got to recap because obviously tonight is Thursday Night Football. Very exciting game that's on the way, so it's only right that we got to do our pregame and we got to do our postgame in the same doggone video. I was actually pondering not going live. I wanted to see if I could save my voice until later tonight, but damn it, I feel comfortable right now, so we'll see how I play out. Ray said Guile, more like Blanca. No, it is Guile. It is Guile. But I don't really like Blanca. Blanca kind of weird. I can't lie to you, man. Blanca kind of weird, but we going to get to the Saints. Believe me, we going to get to the Saints. Golly. Interesting situation. I'm happy you brought that up, Notorious Quan. Because the Patriots are intriguing. Because I thought they released Stephon Gilmore and then all of a sudden they trade him. Jalen Smith gets released out of nowhere. The Packers picked him up. I thought the Packers were going to pick up Stephon Gilmore. Charles put two on us. I thought on Gilmore and Jalen Smith, to be honest with you. Utter confusion. I think with Jalen Smith, it's more of the contract situation, but why not let him finish the season? I would assume that they're going to try to make a move during the year, but wouldn't you still have to bite the bullet on his contract as well? So it's very confusing because he was fueling the defense and they were playing at a very high level, so I don't understand that. With the Gilmore move, trading him for, what was it, a 6th round pick? I feel like you could have got more. So, I don't know. It's one of those, because with the Panthers, I get it. You lost J.C. Horn. You want to replace him. You bring in Stephon Gilmore, who's a consensus top 5 corner in the league. I don't care if the brother had a down season or whatever. That brother still has those mechanisms inside of him. He still has those, mannerisms, still has those muscle memory that's there to still play at an elite level. So it's a great job to, go and get him. But for the Patriots, I don't understand why they didn't try to milk a bit more out of it. Kirk Johnson says, how I'm doing. I'm doing all right. George, put dial on it. Much love, brother. Cedric put 5 on and say, God damn it, first off, Nick Folk, put your motherfucking head back down, you goddamn bum. You ain't wrong about that. You ain't wrong about that. But all right, let's make this brief. We're going to try to break down week 4 and then preview week 5 in a timely manner. We're going to try to keep this bitch under an hour. I think, when did I go live? I think I went live at like 35 or something to that nature. Yeah, around like 33 or something. So let's see if we could get up out of here before 4:45. I don't want to go too doggone long because Lord knows we talk football. I could go on forever. Aaron put 5 on it. That I'm going to the Seahawks-Rams game tonight. Hopefully it's not a quick blowout. Otherwise, I lost nearly $300. I'll say this. I expect these games are always close, which is going to be hilarious because watch it end up being a blowout. But these games are always close. It's a divisional game. You've got two teams that are, one coming off of an unfortunate loss. The other coming off of a very big win. So both teams here are trying to figure out, all right, how do I either bounce back or how do I establish my identity? So it should be a good game. It should be a good game. But 14 grams of crack says, well, hello there. I heard you've heard of me. Indeed, I have 14 grams of crack. In fact, there was a dealer that wasn't too far from my house. I cannot confirm nor deny said sentiments. But he was saying,
you buy 14 grams of crack, then you sell it Then you get a fucking half an ounce.
So, with that out the way, let's break down the entirety of Week 4. Cotton Candy put 2 on it. Said thoughts on Fields being named the starter. I am ecstatic. He should have been named the starter from the start. I understand why you'd want to keep certain people behind, but with the amount of rookie quarterbacks that were starting around the league, it does not make sense to not give the keys to Justin Fields, especially with that particular offense. I don't think Andy Dalton would have been the antidote to get them going. But Bryce Smith said, where did I get that video? Instagram, of all places. But we'll start off very first, Thursday night football. Jaguars and Bengals. First and foremost, we're going to say this. Jaguars need to be ashamed of themselves. Urban Meyer need to go somewhere, put his motherfucking head back down, because goddamn it, for a 4th consecutive game, you've had interceptions being thrown by Trevor Lawrence. On top of that, the failure to play 2 halves of football. Very similar to what we talk about week in, week out with Detroit, where you can't play a full game, you can't play a complete game. The exact same thing that happened this week is the same thing that happened last week against Arizona. Or was it week 2 against Arizona? I can't remember. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's like it mirrored itself. It's the exact same reality that transpired both times, where you play a decent first half and then all of a sudden you forget how to play football in the second half, and it's really atrocious. Taim put 5 on and said, your thoughts on the Packers defense with Devontae Campbell and Jalen Smith and Packers in general. I'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm excited for those guys because they desperately need some attitude changes on their defense. Evo put 10 on and said, Patriots traded him away because because of the cap situation wasn't ideal. Gilmore didn't work with the Patriots, so they released him, then traded him. Heard it on McAfee Show. Well, there it is. Skyron put 5 on and said, bro, can you please incorporate that Cisco incomplete into your commentary? That would have been heavenly hilarious. I should. So I think I could have swore I had put it in a video last year. I can't remember. Or maybe 2 years ago. But whatever the case may be, I'm going to make it happen. Bryce Smith says Jalen Smith will not be good. It depends. It really depends on how he operates, because I think he can work in that defense. I think he can work in that defense, but we're gonna get to that. But the issue that not the Bengals, but the Jaguars have is failure to execute, not only in the second half, but then that final drive, the inability to score on that goal line situation with Trevor Lawrence where they ended up getting stopped on 4th down. That's ridiculous. You need to either take the points there or you have to find the end zone. You cannot afford to have a goal line stand there, because not to say, well, Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense is going to go out there and sling it all over the field. No, that's not the case, although they can. But you can't put yourself in a situation with this particular team where there's a momentum swing. You're never going to capture it again, because we've seen it time in and time out this entire season. Jacksonville has not been able to capture that lightning in a bottle and keep it there. It's there for a little bit, and the moment that the top is open, it's gone. It's gone. So I'm not even going to lie to you. I really don't see a circumstance in which Urban Meyer finishes this season. And then on top of that, you have the situation that transpired at the bar or whatever. Now, granted, it's just bad PR, because how can you trust somebody who doesn't even, isn't even loyal to their marriage? And per se, it wasn't as if he was dancing with her. She was dancing on him, but you don't want to put yourself in that situation. What you need to do, and I've talked about this time and time again, if you're a public figure or whatever, you got to make sure you got a heavy inside of wherever the hell you at. Somebody doing some joint, you're like, hey, ma'am, please don't back it up on me. First and foremost, ain't nobody putting on no Juvenile right now. I don't hear nobody talking about taking over for the 99 or the 2000s, so I'm going to need you to move your posterior from the front of my pelvic region, or there's going to be some problems. If she decides to continue to back it up, you're going to have to snap your finger, point, let them know where she located, and then somebody going to hit her with a gore, and it ain't going to be Rhino. That's all I got to say about that. But unfortunate situation for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They took themselves an L, and the Bengals moved on to 3-1. Big kudos to the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not going to say they're for real yet. However, they do look very impressive. They look very impressive. Jordan P put 2 on, said put some respect on Kyler, number 1 QB in the NFL right now. I want to say number 1 QB in the NFL, but he definitely is leading the league in the MVP race right now. I cannot say he's number 1 in the NFL because I don't go by week, so we've only seen 4 weeks of football. So it's very tough to just say, hey, this guy's the best player in the league. Get by, I'd say by week 10, you have solid film that you can analyze and break down, then you make those scoring declarations. I'm not going to say he's not playing exceptional football. He is. However, you still got to pay your respect to Brady, still got to pay your respect to Mahomes, and Josh Allen for all intents and purposes. Those were the top 3 QBs from last year. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, how can I forget? So those guys, you still got to pay your respect to those guys. But Kyler is playing amazing football right now. He's playing amazing football. Jeff put 2 on, said thoughts on Joey B this year. He's playing great football. Great football. But Kyler is playing like a top 5 quarterback right now. The only thing is that him and Stafford are like right next to each other. Because I'd say the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now, I think undisputedly we can all say, and on top of that, Russell Wilson, we can't forget Russell Wilson. But the top 4, I would have to say, is Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers, and that not in an order, but Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers, and Allen are all playing sensational football. Russell Wilson, Stafford, and Murray are like right there. They all freaking shuffle for 5. And the crazy thing is, it's crazy to not sit here and say Russell Wilson's not a top 5 quarterback. Like I can't sit here and not say that. Oh, and Justin Herbert's playing magnificent football, but he's not. He ain't there yet. But those 3. No, honestly, anytime, like Russell. That's the tough thing about it, because even Josh Allen, I would rotate him in that as well. So I would say the 3 undisputed: Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers, however you want to rank it. And then from 4 to 7 is just a revolving, switching location of everybody else. Lamar, no. Lamar, as when we talk about at the ability to play the quarterback position, Lamar's not there. But Lamar's amongst the top, when we talk about top 10 players in the league, like players in the league, he's there. He's in the 10. But it's very tough because quarterback, there's 3 people who you say undisputedly is better than everybody else. And then the rest of them, they rotate. But they're not far from each other. So when I say, let's say if I say Lamar Jackson right now is playing like the 8th best QB in the league, right? He can jump to 4 the very next week because everybody is so close together. So you got to really, give your respect to the quarterbacks in the league. They're all playing very good football. Well, not them all, but they're all playing very good football. But we're going to move on to Titans and Jets. I can't really sit here and penalize the Titans for losing this football game and excoriate them, tear them to shreds, put them in the pit of death. I can't necessarily do that. Because this was a very tough situation for them. You're going into a game, you don't got Brown, you don't got Jones. Tannehill got to have like a makeshift kind of, passing attack. Of course, they're going to hand it off to Henry left and right, and he got 33 carries, and rightfully so, 157 yards and a TD. But it just wasn't enough. But what spoke volumes to me was the inability of the Titans defense that continues to be on display. We've seen this for years now under Mike Vrabel. So it's very confusing to see somebody who was a great defensive player like Mike Vrabel was, but he is just incapable of putting together an NFL defense. And it's really unfortunate. For the Jets, they showed a lot of poise. Because let's be honest here. When they entered the fourth quarter, and you saw the game was relatively close. Now, granted, the Jets ended up, taking the lead. And in the fourth quarter, they tied the game, and then they took the lead. Let's be honest. Going into the fourth quarter, we all thought Derrick Henry's going to run them into the dirt. We can all agree here. I don't think there's a single person outside of, very optimistic Jets fans who can sit there and say, man, I really thought we was going to slow down the Titans. I think if Julio and A.J. Brown play, this isn't a game the Jets lose, but it's any given Sunday. Anytime, put 5 on it. Much love. So with that being the situation, and the Jets knowing that, hey, they're going to be very reliant on Derrick Henry, and there's no real passing attack, their defense took care of business. While we're debating if Dak is top 10, oh, man, this is why I say it's tough. When you're from 4 to 10, by week it shifts. But I'll give my kudos to the Jets. They showed a lot of poise. If you're a Tennessee fan, you shouldn't be concerned for the offense. Be more concerned for the defense, because I don't think it's going to be a consistent situation in which Julio and AJ Brown are both out. You can rely on Derrick Henry. I mean, over the course of the last 2 years, I think he's outrushed like 20 football teams by himself. So, I'm not too concerned about the Titans on the offensive side. But the defensive side, they got to get it together. They have to figure it out. They really have to figure it out because it's atrocious. Like they cannot play they can't play 60 minutes on defense, and it shows week in, week out. They play a high-powered offense. Their offense will have to score all of the time. All of the time. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about the Rams and the Cardinals. But for the Titans, you got to figure out your defense. That's all I got to say about that. Armando said, "Can Arizona beat Tampa Bay?" Actually, yes. So definitely for the Titans, figure out that defense. If you guys want to be able to contend in the postseason. But the Jets, you got yourself one here. I wouldn't say if you're a Jets fan, there's anything to hang your head on and say, "Woo!" You know, we're going to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but you know. Good game for them. Fire X Samurai said, "Yo, what's going on? My Seahawks playing today. We undefeated on Thursday night when we're wearing green the last 6 years." Really? That's an oddly specific, astute observation. Said, and one of those wins was against the Rams. We won 24-3. Well, what do you know? I expect a very close but entertaining game. Gray said Dak is in the MVP conversation. He's playing very good football. I wouldn't say the MVP conversation don't start until about week 6, but there's a ton of people that can be inside of that conversation right now. Next, we could talk about another man who's in the conversation. Patrick Mahomes throws for 5 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill is unstoppable, and the Eagles get, I don't want to say destroyed, but they lose at home in Lincoln Financial Field 42-30. I'll say this, first and foremost, Eagles defense, they got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. Back-to-back week 40 burgers? Oh, no. Oh, no. Hell no. Last week, they can't stop the run. This week, they can't stop the pass. They've got to figure out what kind of team they want to be. NFC East right now is looking like it is a one-team race. Let's be honest. NFC East looking like it's a one-team race. After the Eagles beat the Falcons, they forgot how to play football. They played decent against San Francisco in week 2. Obliterated by Dallas in week 3. Could not stop a soul in week 4 against the Chiefs. I don't know what to tell you. We'll talk about the football team in a bit. The Giants were able to, nut it up and get themselves a victory. But my God, the Eagles don't know what the hell they doing. The Eagles have no clue what the hell they doing. The offensive play call selection has not stopped, being atrocious. They finally decided to go out there and say, "Yo, let's hand the ball to Miles Sanders." I lied. They did not. They did not. Maybe somebody was playing Madden, because that's not what the case was. Miles Sanders had 8 carries for 13 yards. How many times are we going to keep singing the same story? Or it's the Jalen Hurts show every single game? Now, granted, he didn't play a bad game. 380-plus yards. He had 2 TDs. He didn't play a bad game. But my God. What is the play calling? You can't win against the Kansas City Chiefs if you can't call plays on offense, let alone have a defense to stop anybody. Kansas City Chiefs took care of business. I don't need to say nothing about their team, man. You know what's going to happen week in and week out. You know what's going to happen. Anytime. But 20 on it said Russell Wilson needs an O-line, absolutely, to bring him back on top. Offensive coordinator doesn't let him improvise on the fly anymore, but that's on Russell Wilson to be able to go and improvise. He should say, to hell with the coach. I got to trust my instinct. And says, 2, your Nick Folk react and other commentary needs to be featured on Stephen A's First Take. Well, that'd be something. I'd get censored without question. But yeah, they definitely need to. Russell Wilson needs to, go into games and just say, fuck it. I'm gonna do what I excel at. But for the Eagles, if they don't figure out this play calling situation, I promise you they'll be 4-13 at the end of the season. You'll be lucky to get 5 games. You'll be lucky to get 5 games. You'll be lucky to get 5 games. Dirk said, "Don't call me crazy, but if the Chiefs don't fix their defense, they won't even make the playoffs this year. AFC is strong. Chargers and Raiders." No. The Chiefs will they'll make the playoffs. They won't go back to the AFC Championship. Did Frank Clark play What's the situation with Frank Clark? Because I know Tyrann Mathieu is back, but Frank Clark's not playing. I know he has a weapons charge or something of that nature. But what is the situation with Frank Clark? Like, when is this man? When is he coming back? Because I know they're talking about a possible. He's possibly going to go on return at one particular point. I think. Well, he came back against the because he hasn't. What's going on? Like, I haven't heard this man's name. Is he playing? Is he not playing? What's going on? ND Gaming for 5 on said, will the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the 76 Bucks record of losing 26 straight games? I think so. But what's going on with Frank Clark? Like, this man's been a non-factor. He's been a non-factor. Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary there, but like I'm confused. I'm very confused. When is Clark? When is Clark coming back? He didn't play this past game. What's going on with him? He's just pleading non-guilty to the charges. There's no new news on because he needs to provide a spark for that defense. They desperately need him because Chris Jones is a hit or miss on a week in, week out basis. So the Chiefs really need to figure out what the hell they're trying to do on defense as well. But this game was more of a story for the Eagles because if they can't figure it out, it's going to be over. Like this season, it'll be brutal. Like I said before, the NFC East, you always got a chance. But my God. Like get it together. Really. You really got to get it together. Panthers and the Cowboys. First loss for the Panthers. I'll say this. Cowboys look very impressive. Give them their kudos. They look very, very impressive. I don't care what anybody says. I joke about the Cowboys left and right. Give them their kudos. Cowboys looking very exceptional right now. They're looking very exceptional right now. I don't really like the trade away, the releasing of Jalen Smith, but they're looking very good right now. On offense, Zeke looks motivated. Remember after week 1 and week 2, I said, yo, Zeke, you got to get it together. Guess what? Last 2 games, Zeke got it together. He got it together. And he's playing very good football. Dak, although he threw 4 touchdowns, this wasn't a game where Dak dominated and, this ran through Zeke. Oh, I might add, Tony Pollard had over 60 yards on the ground on 10 carries as well. That Cowboys run attack, looking magnificent. Second coming of smash and dash, lightning and fire, earth, wind and fire. They got a two-headed monster back there. Oh, and cannot forget on defense, Trevon Diggs is looking magnificent. Cowboys look good. Cowboys look good. Cowboys look good. Give them their respect. Cowboys look good. That one guy said no one should fear Dallas. Oh, but this season, the way they played the last 3 games, hell, the 4 games, Cowboys look good. I like the way that they look. Dak looks very poised, unaffected by that ankle injury. Zeke is highly motivated. And although Amari Cooper had, back-to-back kind of games, he may have caught a touchdown this game, but it's a kind of game. He'll break out and have another, monster game. I like the way that they look. For Carolina, calm it. Calm it. There's your first game. You don't got McCaffrey out there. J.C. Horn's gone, but you're bringing in Stephon Gilmore. But this is more about the run game. Sam Darnold had a tough back-to-back, interceptions that he had thrown to Diggs. But Darnold didn't look terrible. It was tolerable, not terrible. So give them time. We'll see how they bounce back. We knew they weren't going to be an undefeated football team. So give them time. But like I stated last week, they're going to need Christian McCaffrey moving forward. But this was more of a thumbs up for the Cowboys. I like it. What are my thoughts on, Jay said, what are my thoughts on the Jalen Smith release? Do I think it's a smart move or wrong move? I think it's a wrong move. I think it's the wrong move. I think it's the wrong move. Neo Gohan, put 5 on it, said this midseason schedule will make or break the Cowboys. Correct, it will. Next up, we'll stay in the NFC East. Saints lose to the New York Giants. I'll say this. New Orleans Saints, this is exactly why I spoke about what I spoke about last week. I don't know how to figure out this football team. I have no clue how to figure out this football team. Every single week, we've seen a different New Orleans Saints. They've taken on the identity of Jameis Winston. You don't know what the hell you're going to get. You have no clue what you're going to get. Week in, week out, they're a whole different football team. They had a lead, then they blew it. Oh, let's forget to guard Saquon Barkley. We'll let the Giants go down the field and kick a game-tying field goal and go into overtime. We're going to lose on the coin toss and then mess around and not play defense in overtime. I honestly don't know how to assess this Saints team. There's no way to figure it. It's literally a coin flip every single week. For Saints fans, this got to be the most confusing era in some time since the days of the 3 straight 7-9 seasons. And it's been like 5-6 years since then, so y'all probably can't even remember that. But my God, you talk about confusion. If you would have told me the Saints would only have 1 interception and it wouldn't even be Jameis Winston, I'd have called you a liar. This man, Alvin Kamara, had over 100 yards on the ground. That's a check. Jameis Winston didn't turn the football over. That's a check. But you're still lost in overtime. How? Very confusing. They led 21-10 going into the fourth quarter. They get the Giants to punt, and then all of a sudden, this is the Saints' possessions in the fourth quarter. 7 plays and a punt. The Giants go down the field and they score a field goal in 3 and out. Giants go down the field on 1 play and score. That was a Saquon touchdown. They convert on 2-point conversion. Saints get the football back. Terrible, taking the football out of the goddamn end zone like an idiot. Then they fail to, move the chains into Giants territory, so they have to punt. The Giants go down the field like it's nothing. They were pinned inside their 15. Go down the field like it's nothing. Kick the field goal to force overtime. Overtime come, and the Saints cannot stop a single motherfucking play. The Giants ain't have a 3rd down until what was the Galladay pass that ended up putting them the play before the game-winning, touchdown. The Saints, I have no clue about this football team. I have no clue about this football team whatsoever. Good Lord, Steelers 75 in the bill. I haven't seen you in forever. I'm happy you are alive, brother. I have no clue how to figure out this Saints football team. It's brutal. It's really brutal. Neo go on, said the mid-season, all right. Gavo put 2 on, say, hey, bro, just tuning in, knowing that we're going to get blown out. Hey, don't say that about your Dolphins. I mean, it's going to happen. But still, Adrian put 2 on, said, keep Big Ben for 3 more seasons or be Jar Jar Binks. I don't think I want to be Jar Jar Binks. But keeping Ben, I mean, get him an offensive line, it'll still look as brutal. Scarecrow put 2 on, said the Saints are the most confusing team right now. I agree. But kudos to the Giants. They got themselves a W, but if I was a Giants fan, I wouldn't sit here and be, excited. I wouldn't be excited. Hoodie Zay said you wanted to hop on and talk about the Giants. Yeah. We'll probably have to do it another time because I don't think I'm going to be able to get people to hop on the stream this time around. We'll do it another time. I got to figure out which week I want to start, bringing people on. But then this week is going to be kind of tough. Because I'm kind of on a time consort. So it's going to be kind of tough. But my apologies, brother. A man of culture. Put 5 on it. Said Daniel Jones has been the best part of the Giants since the second half of last season. Now he's got people that's showing up around him. Agreed. But all he got to just do is protect the football, and he'll be all right. But the Giants got themselves a W. So I'll give them their kudos. They got themselves a W. Saquon showed up. So good for Saquon Barkley. Browns and the Vikings. This game here was very confusing because after the Vikings scored on their opening drive, their offense simply could not execute whatsoever. This was a game they could have won. Browns were able to walk away. This was one of them 50-50 games. But I will say this, Baker and Odell got no chemistry whatsoever. No chemistry whatsoever. Odell's got to go. If I'm Odell, it's time. It's time. Towards the tail end of the season, yeah, it's time to either request that trade or play out your contract and go about your mosey way because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Give the Browns their credit. Minnesota found a new way to lose. Offense simply was not efficient. Defense was there for the most part. But this was a game that Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, those guys got to look themselves in the mirror and be like, God damn, we could only put together an opening drive and we can't do a goddamn thing afterwards. That's brutal. I'll give credit to like I said, with Cleveland, when that run game is there, you'll win football games. But you move that run game and it becomes the Baker show, he'll get exposed. Because Baker Mayfield, when that run game is going well and he's comfortable, he's straight. But I'm telling you right now, Baker ain't as good as a lot of people think that Baker is. Baker's he's a hit-and-miss quarterback. He's a hit-and-miss quarterback. He was missing motherfucker left and right. He was missing motherfuckers. So Baker got to play better football. But for Browns, they 3-1. They was able to escape with this W. Minnesota just got to be able to execute more on offense. But this is one of them games where it's like, oh, you got to look at the film, and both teams got to be like, yo, we got to figure out what the hell are we doing moving forward, because this was, you know. But for Baker, under no circumstances can you keep missing Odell like this. Like, you got Odell Beckham on your team. Say what you want about Odell being overrated, all this other stuff. Say what you want. But at the end of the day, he's an explosive receiver. There's no reason why this man should be that open and you can't get him to football. It doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. And like Deion Sanders talked about, you know the Browns ain't going to move on from Baker. He's the best quarterback they've had in years. So it's going to be Odell who ends up getting moved. So let's just be honest about it. Kevin Howard, for 5-1, said, did I see that OBJ had a torn labrum for 10 years? I had no clue. That goes to show how superior some athletes are. But next up, Lions and Bears. What'd I tell you about the Detroit Lions? They can't play a complete football game. It's either one half or it's the other. If it's a whole game, they can't do it. First half, the Lions weren't even on the field. And where they were on the field, they were cooking up apple turnovers. The Bears go down the field. They get a touchdown off David Montgomery, right? What do the Lions do? We're going to fumble. The Bears go right back down the field, get themselves a touchdown, right? What do the Lions do? We're going to turn the football over. The Bears go 3 and out. What do the Lions say we're going to do? We're going to fumble the football. The Bears throw an interception. What do the Lions do? We're going to have a 3 and out. These motherfuckers ain't play football in the first half at all. Why did you take the field? Why? Brutal, bruh. I don't understand how Detroit Lions fans are fans. How? You watch that. If I put on my Charles Rogers jersey right now and I went and I watched that Chicago-Detroit game, I'm not going to have a good time. Distraught XL, put 2 on. Say, I love how you saw my Eagles take that L like a champ. Hey, man. You said, I know I saw your Eagles. Not I love I saw your Eagles. Well, there it is. But Detroit, they come out of the tunnel. They punt on their first drive after a 3 and out. They punt again, and all of a sudden, now they playing football. We got a touchdown. We got another touchdown. And then a turnover on downs. That's ultimately going to lead to the end of the game. Like how? How? Why? How? Why? I don't understand. I really don't understand. For the Bears, congrats to Justin Fields, your very first victory as a starter in the NFL. Didn't really need to do too much. He didn't really have a magnificent game. At the same time, didn't have a terrible game. This was more along the lines of taking a look at David Montgomery playing magnificent game on the ground. He ended up leaving the game. Damian Williams came in, and guess what? He had a touchdown and also 55 yards on the ground. But my God, this was more of a story of Detroit continuing to be Detroit. I'm telling you right now, Dan Campbell said, yo, when you knock his team down, they're going to get up and they're going to bite off a kneecap. I don't see kneecaps being bit off except your own. So guess what, Dan Campbell? Your team is filled with cannibals who want to perform self-harm on each other. This is suicide from within. That's the Detroit Lions. Shoot ourselves in the foot, week in, week out. That's what they are. You can't spell Lions without a capital L. And guess what? That's exactly the kind of train that they getting on week in and week out. It's brutal. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. For the Bears, congratulations. Next up, necrophilia. The Texans got destroyed by the Bills. I don't need to say nothing else about Buffalo. They destroyed the Texans. The Texans look bad. They look really bad. Oh my God, they look terrible. Texans got straight up fucked, up the anus, sideways, no Vaseline. Sandpaper was somehow liquidized into, or I should say liquidated into some sort of lube, and it's painful. Either they got anal fissures, anal bleeding, or hemorrhoids because the motherfucking Texans got straight up fucked. It was bad. Asteroid Stone for 5 on said, my Seahawks is going to win tonight. DK Metcalf about to go all over the Rams. Well, that's interesting. I was leaning more towards a Tyler Lockett, unless, of course, he had gotten hurt. But we will see. But the Texans got destroyed. Buffalo has blown out their opponents 3 consecutive games. Granted, their opponents have been relatively inferior. But still, a win's a win. That's all I got to say about that. I don't need to go into detail about this game. Buffalo fucking destroyed the Texans. But this upcoming week, I believe they are playing against the Chiefs. So this is going to be fun. I expect a great game. But moving on, Colts and the Dolphins. Can we give a round of applause to Carson Wentz, Jonathan Taylor, and Frank Reich? The Colts finally score in the red zone. Top Shotter put 2 on and said the Texans didn't even show up to that game. Hell, they didn't. Can we give a round of applause to the Colts because they must have been tuned in to the Chiseled Adonis stream? Because what happened? 2 out of 3 trips to the red zone, they finally got a touchdown. They were 3 yards out of the red zone at the 23, and Jonathan Taylor ran it into the end zone for the score. His first touchdown, or I should say, his first 100-yard game of the season. Mo Alley gave the Dolphins defense the cocks and scored 2 touchdowns himself. Carson Wentz hasn't played terrible this season, but I think this was the best showcase of his game. But my God, finally, the Colts, who for all intents and purposes should be 4-0, find a way to win their very first game of the season. For the Dolphins, this was one of those games where it said, it could have been either way. But mid-tier God keeps saying Bengals beating Packers. I mean, we'll see when we get to there. But you don't got to keep spamming it, brother. I see your comment. But give it to the Colts. They finally scored inside the red zone, and that's the difference between winning and losing football games. That's all it comes down to. Talk about the Colts defense, talk about the Colts offense. If you looked at every single game this year, the reason why they lost, their inability to score inside of the red zone. They settled for a field goal on one of the drives as well, which I still kind of snarled at as well. But I guess you got to get Rodrigo Blankenship an opportunity to kick field goals one way or another. But the Colts need to finish in the red zone. And if they do that, I'm telling you, regardless of the fact that they lost 3 games, they can be a playoff wild card team. Hell, the way the AFC South is looking, for all intents and purposes, they can still compete. Titans have virtually no defense. The Texans and the Jaguars are an afterthought in the division. So for all intents and purposes, the Colts, they're game and a half because they lost to Tennessee last week. But if they can get on a little bit of a run, they can compete for the division and mess around and get themselves a home playoff game. But I think the wild card is out of the question. I think that's out of the question. The only way the Colts can make the playoffs is if they win the division. I think the AFC West, the AFC North, they're going to compile the wild card. I think they're going to compile the wild card. I don't envision a circumstance in which it's not an AFC North team or an AFC West team that occupies that wild card spot. I think for the Colts, they have to win the division. But it's the red zone. It is the red zone that they need to be able to capitalize in, and that's ultimately what got them that W. Jeffrey, you in the building? What's going on? I talked about your Cowboys already, brother. You just missed it. But moving on, the football team and the Falcons. I don't need to go into detail about this game. Let me just say this about the Falcons. Every quarterback that plays against the Atlanta Falcons suddenly becomes a member of the 99 Club in Madden. Taylor Heineke, down the stretch, looked like Tom Brady. When the motherfucking Falcons have any lead in the fourth quarter, just know they're going to find a way to blow it. Week in, week out. Does not make sense. I've never seen a team so committed to being unable to finish games. I really, for the life of me, I can't understand it. James Joseph in the building. For the life of me, I cannot understand it. Why are the Falcons the way they are? I don't understand it. There's no X's and O's to explain it. There's no play calling or alignment or execution or individual play to explain it. This is a team that, for whatever reason, it's ingrained in their team's philosophy, in the players' DNA, that when it's crunch time, clutch time, they mentally check out. It doesn't make sense. Across the board. Across the board. Matt Ryan played a phenomenal game. All of a sudden, after scoring that final drive, I can't play football. I don't know what to do with the football. Nobody's open. I'm not going to try to fit the football into any tight locations. Like, I don't understand. Receivers who was getting separation during the game. I can't run routes anymore. Suddenly, I forgot how to play football. The defense. We were playing good football through 3 quarters. We no longer know how to do that. There's no way to make it make sense. Because Washington has criminally underperformed this season. Their defense, which was a top 5 in the NFL last year, well, top 10, but better portion of defenses in the NFL last year, they ain't showing up at all this year. We were coming into this season talking about, man, the Washington football team, maybe you got to watch out for them in the NFC. They could be a sleeper. Oh, no. They deserve to be slept on. They've earned that right. They are not playing good football at all. But the Falcons just find ways to lose. DeMontre put 2 on and said, will the Texans get the Deshaun Watson trade? Will they grant the Deshaun Watson trade? Oh, I hope so, because there's no reason to keep holding on to him. Doesn't make sense. Thomas in the building. What's going on? But this was more about the Falcons than it was about the football team. Now, granted, round of applause for Heineke, another come-from-behind win. I ain't taking nothing away from you, brother. But it's just something about the Falcons that makes me want to interrogate their entire motherfucking organization. It makes me want to watch their games, and immediately I'm like, yo, somebody got to explain to me, under the lights, who's responsible for the Falcons playing this abysmally? Is that a word? I don't think abysmally is a word. But why are you guys playing so abysmal? Huh? I actually bought a flashlight. I actually bought a flashlight to flash the flashlight during the damn streams. I literally bought a flashlight because I've always wanted a flashlight. On top of that, I can hit somebody in the back of the head with a clubbing blow. You hear it? This is rather, it's heavy duty. This big ass flashlight right there. All right. But nevertheless, Falcons, y'all ain't shit. That's all I got to say about that. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all garbage. Y'all are garbage. Somebody need to interrogate that entire organization. Y'all garbage. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Moving on. NFC West battle. Seahawks and the 49ers. We spoke about this early in the season. The 49ers ain't sold on Jimmy Garoppolo, and let's just be honest. Moving forward, they ain't going to roll with Garoppolo no more. Did they officially name Trey Lance as the starter yet? Did they officially name Trey Lance as the starter yet moving forward? Because for this game, Lord Taco Pafavo said Falcons never recovered from choking in the Super Bowl. Agreed. Did they name Trey Lance as the starter yet? No. They need to. Because at this particular point, it's not worth it. Because Garoppolo's constantly looking over his shoulder. Let's be honest. Outside of that opening drive, the touchdown, Garoppolo did nothing couldn't really find nobody. He had that interception to Quandre Diggs when he was trying to look for Kittle over the middle, and Kittle just, well, I mean, it was no fault on Kittle. I mean, Quandre Diggs just read the play. So, as far as I'm concerned, the 49ers offense, Kyle Shanahan's like, yeah, I don't think Garoppolo got what it takes. It's very similar to what Andy Reid was doing with I said Andy Reid. What they were doing in San Francisco with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. Now, granted, Jim Harbaugh. But granted, that was a little bit of a different situation because Alex Smith ultimately got hurt, and then when he got healthy, they're like, yeah, we're gonna roll with Kaepernick. But with Garoppolo, they're like, yeah, I think it's time. It's time to just put that brother to the side. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand why they keep giving up on this brother, man. They don't want to roll with him. They do not want to roll with him. They're just saying, yo, we're going to go with Trey Lance, and all of a sudden Trey Lance came in. First and foremost, Deebo Samuel's a motherfucking beast. Give that brother his flowers. He is a beast. But with Garoppolo, it's anytime he makes a mistake, the camera's looking for Trey Lance. They searching for Trey Lance. Every single game, post-game, pre-game, questions about the quarterback position. So, of course, you're going to have that uncomfortability. But do I believe there's an injury sort of situation? No, I don't. I don't. Trey Lance is going to end up being the starter for this team moving forward. That's all I got to say about it. Trey Lance is going to be the starter moving forward. For the Seahawks, this was a good game. Divisional game, it was a good game. Congratulations, you got yourselves a W. Way to bounce back. Russell Wilson just joined Peyton Manning as the second quarterback to win 100 games in win 100 games in their first 10 seasons. Good victory for them. They're gonna need to replicate that same kind of performance here tonight against the Rams, but they need to figure out what they need to do with Jimmy G and Trey Lance, because they could talk about injuries left and right, but let's be honest here. You already know they're not feeling too confident in Jimmy G. They're not. They don't. Because if that was the case, they would undisputedly say, yo, that he's our guy, he's our quarterback, we rolling with him, we're not even checking for Trey Lance. That's not the case. Any opportunity they can get to put Trey Lance in the game, they're taking it. So that's all I got to say about the 49ers. For the Seahawks, good game. Good game. You got yourselves a W. Way to bounce back. Defense looked a little bit better. But my God, Deebo Samuel, that brother's a beast. That brother's a goddamn beast. Oh no. MGI said Jimmy G to the Jets. Oh no. Let's not do that. Cardinals and the Rams. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier, right? When we talk about defenses, right? Because the Rams, they were the number one scoring defense last year. I believe the number one passing defense last year as well. This was an example of your team scores some of the time. The opposing team scores damn near all of the time. Because outside of 2 drives, the Cardinals scored every drive. Touchdown, field goal, didn't matter. There was nobody stopping them. The Rams had a fumble, I think a couple fumbles actually. The Rams had an interception. So they go down the field, they kick a field goal, right? Opening drive. 3 and out for the Cardinals. The Rams have an interception. Cardinals turn that into a touchdown. The Rams go back down the field, they score. The Cardinals go back downfield, they score. The Rams fumble on the very first play of the drive. Cardinals turn that into a touchdown. It's a short field. Of course they're going to score. Rams punt. Cardinals punt. Rams kick a field goal. Guess what? Cardinals going to answer right back. Every time the Rams put points on the board, the Cardinals answered right back. Cardinals put up a field goal, ended up going up by 14. The Rams ended up missing a field goal there. Cardinals turned that into points. Rams turnover on downs. Cardinals kicked another field goal. Rams they scored a touchdown there, but it was already too doggone late. If your defense can't stop nobody, you're going to have a bad time. Not to say that the Rams defense is bad, but my God, the Cardinals played a magnificent football game. Anytime, put 5 on and said, I'd like to see Cam as a backup to Russell Wilson. Oh, no, I don't think so. I do not think so. I don't think that would work. And I'll say this about the Cardinals. I'm a believer now. Before I was kind of skeptical about everything. They're the lone undefeated team left in the league. Watching how they played against Jacksonville and having to come from behind. But this particular game against the Rams, they imposed their will. Kyler Murray, although I don't talk much about MVP this early in the season, leading candidate. Leading candidate. Brother's got over 10 touchdowns. He's playing magnificent football. Chase Edmonds over 100 yards on the ground. James Conner even had half 100 himself. Dark Hero put 5 on and said, should the Pats bring back Jimmy G as a backup for Mac Jones? No. No. They played very good football. I'll give it to the Cardinals. They played very good football. For the Rams fans, don't hang your head. Minor hiccup. Minor setback for a major comeback. Cardinals played very, very good football. Give those guys their respect. Dean the Bean said Larry Fitzgerald need to come back. Tell you the truth, I agree. I think he needs to show up. I think he needs to show up. Now, granted, he'd be the 4th receiver, but I think he needs to be a part of this season. This season feels special. Do I think it can end in a championship? Perhaps. But I think Fitzgerald need to come back. Jordan Pafavo said Kyler is the only QB in the top 5 of yards, TDs, completion percentage, passer rating, yards per attempt, and is the number 1 QB graded from the pocket. It has to be the number 1 QB right now. Hell, he's playing very good football. He's playing very good football right now. It's only been 4 weeks, but he's playing very good football. So I'll say that much about the Cardinals. Very, very good and impressive outing. Steelers and the Packers. I don't really need to say too much about the Packers. This is more primarily about the Steelers. I said everything I had to say in my post-game rant. But Pittsburgh looked like ass across the board. Ass across the board. Defensively, they have minor splash plays, and I'll just say this briefly because I feel like it has to be stated. The referees fucked us on the that offsides call on Joe Hayden. That was utter rubbish. But the second half, Pittsburgh didn't play football whatsoever. So even if they did take a lead going into halftime, if they played the same second half, we lose either way. But Pittsburgh's offense is abysmal. Wide receivers can't catch nor get separation. Tight ends are damn near useless. Offensive line doesn't do their job. Najee Harris can't run because there's no lanes that's being opened for him. Ben Roethlisberger, this was the worst game he's played this season, and probably all of this is the worst game Ben's played in like 4 years. Like, even the game when he threw 5 picks against Jacksonville, it did not look this bad. Ben looked terrible. 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 That was embarrassing to watch. Embarrassing to watch. Defensively, it's a hit and miss kind of situation. But, my God, you talk about abysmal, terrible. Pittsburgh need to be in the shadow realm until further notice. Jose put 5 on and said, you should make a video with Daquan Wishart. Soon. But Pittsburgh looked abysmal. It was really bad. Really bad. If there was ever a moment where you watched the game and you said, oh, yeah, he should retire, this was the game. This truly was the game. Like, when you look at somebody like, yo, that is terrible. Yeah, you might want to consider quitting. Me, myself, I say never quit. You don't quit until the end of the season. You see if you can figure the son bitch out. But that was very tough to watch. Dice King put 5 on and said, Ben, having a bad day, came to watch CA to cheer up. Hey, I appreciate that. But R. Vernell put 2 on it. I should say put 10 on it. My apologies. Last number inside of your name was 2. Said, I tag you in a post on IG talking about the Steelers. Ben has done his job. Time to retire. Go Chargers, go. Much love. I appreciate that. I'll see if I can go check out the post. But yeah, this was a bad game for the Steelers. Bad game for Ben. Offense looked abysmal, terrible, atrocious. Very tough to watch. Very tough to watch. That's all I got to say about them. For the Packers, good game. Aaron Rodgers, always good. And now adding a Jalen Smith, I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. But my God, did Pittsburgh look like ass? It was bad. And we're going to stay in the AFC North. Ravens, Broncos. If Teddy Bridgewater doesn't leave this game, I think the Broncos still lose. But defensively, they looked very impressive to me. Defensively, they looked very impressive. Because up until Bridgewater ended up leaving this game, I believe it was Justin Tucker kicked the field goal at the end to make it a 17-7. I do not envision a circumstance in which Bridgewater would take them, bring them back. But when Locke entered the game, he did not really give them a spark per se. Outside of that opening drive score, Denver really didn't do too much. The Ravens, they were kind of just on standby until they had a hole. They took advantage. So this wasn't really a huge impressive game for either team. And this was a game that I think for Denver really showcase, hey, this is your first real test of the season. How are you going to respond? They were very underwhelming. So since that's the case, I'm like, I don't know is Denver legit? Is they not legit? Is this just a hiccup? We'll see how they bounce back. It's still fairly early in the season. But for the Ravens, and apparently this is their first road win in Denver since 2001. And I think that was like the second week after 9/11. My God, that's a long time ago. That's 20 years. But shit, it might be 20 years to the day, maybe 20 years to the week for sure. But for Denver, I want to see how they bounce back. But I hear Bridgewater, he's not going to be out. I haven't heard news about him being ruled out yet. But granted, I haven't really checked like that. But my God, kudos to the Baltimore Ravens being able to stick it out. And at the end of the game, I know Fangio was like, I didn't like the fact that he was holding them under 100 yards, and all of a sudden they ran and went over 100 yards to keep it at like 30-plus consecutive games or whatever. I understand you may not want them to do that, but what do you think they're going to do? Just willfully surrender a record that they have? No, that's stupid. Cry me a river. But nevertheless, congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens. They got themselves a W. Sunday Night Football. Buccaneers and the Patriots. Bill Belichick, this is your fault. I don't need to talk about the rest of the game because Mac Jones, he did his thing. Run game was but then the rain really affected this particular game. It was a back and forth for the most part, regardless of the fact that it was relatively low scoring throughout the first half. And then when you got into the third quarter, entering the fourth quarter, business started to pick up. But Mac Jones, I'm not understanding, and I'll just talk primarily about the end of the game. Mac Jones played a very good football game. Very good football game. Why do you take the ball out of his hands on 4th and 3? To kick a 56-yard field goal by the kicker who does not need to be named. In the rain, and again, from 56 yards. What was the game plan here? You did it to yourself. I don't understand why they did not leave the football in the hands of Mac Jones. Mac Jones was playing very good football. I'll say this about the Buccaneers. There were a ton of different mental lapses in this particular game. A lot of different mental lapses. Do I think this was a game that defined this team? Not at all. But this was one of those 50-50 games they just so happened to escape with a W. And I say escape because that's what the case was. They lost the lead. Brady went right back down the field. All of a sudden gave his team the lead like he always does. And then he had to sit there on the sideline, watch his defense squander, give up huge penalty after huge penalty. Not on the same drive, but throughout the doggone game, we had a ton of different penalties that ended up setting up drives. But I digress. This was primarily about Bill Belichick. What the hell was the game plan decision at the end of the game? That's so stupid. And now we ought to name the kicker. Nick Folk! It's not entirely your fault because given the situation, 56-yard field goal, rained, wind, it's a very tough kick. You made 35 consecutive field goals for the New England Patriots. You did your job. But when the lights came on, you did not go out there and perform. I've said this time and time again. There are some people, it doesn't matter what they happen to go do when they out there. If they show up in clutch moments, I ain't going to have no problem. But if you're somebody who show up, you do your job when it's not really a clutch situation, all of a sudden it's clutch situations now, and you don't come through, understand, you will forever be a bum. Justin Tucker can miss field goals at the end of the doggone game. Maybe he'll miss about like 3 or whatever. If he were to miss 3, he doesn't miss 3. But if he were to miss 3, I'd still be like, yo, hold on, wait. We got to look through his brother's career. This brother's been nothing but clutch throughout his entire entirety of his career. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's probably just having a rough season right now. But somebody like Nick Folk, I've seen time and time again, you go out there and let the entire nation down. So as far as I'm concerned, 56-yard field goal, 86-yard field goal, 76-yard field goal, you got the motherfucking game sliders all the way up to 90, 99. Doesn't matter. You go out there and find a way to miss field goals. You're going to doink it off the upright. What is your name? Cody Parker. He just signed to the doggone Saints for reasons I wish I could explain. But nevertheless, Nick Folk, do me a favor and put your motherfucking head back there. I blame Bill Belichick. I blame you. It is the two of y'all fault for losing this doggone game. Primarily Belichick for making the decision to send your bum ass out there, stupid. Put your motherfucking head back there. And last but not least, Las Vegas Raiders on the road taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. I'll say this. Tale of two halves. First half, the Raiders did not show up whatsoever. Second half, they started to play a little bit of football, but their defense had mental lapses. They checked out. Derek Vehicle's interception that was intercepted by Derwin James, that was a backbreaker. Really, really hurt them. But for Las Vegas, I don't think this is a game that defines them. This was more of a game of the Los Angeles Chargers. They're 3-1, top of the AFC West, and guess what? They're playing magnificent football. Justin Herbert on prime time is money. He is money. Put Justin Herbert on Monday Night Football. Let me tell you something right now. You're going to see fireworks. That brother plays magnificent football. When the lights come on, he performs. Unlike Nick Folk. Well, when the light comes on, Justin Herbert performs. Austin Elker, very good game. Elker. Doesn't matter. Very good game. You showcase to the world that's how the white man played guitar. Because he played a very good football game. Best football game of his life. Very good game for the Chargers. And now go Chargers. Go. They played very good football. Very good football. They looked very good. But we all know the story of the Los Angeles Chargers. Hell, even when they were San Diego Chargers. 50-50 games. You got to win those. This season, I would hope they come out on top of those. Because that's the difference between 7-10 and 12-5. That's the difference between 13-4 and 8-9. Those 50-50 games. So, down the line, I want to see how it plays out. Ruben says more likely to make the playoffs, Raiders or Broncos? Honestly, Raiders. Sealer75 says, fuck you, Spanos. Well, somebody call urinating treatment. Make sure that they know it's always going to be fuck you, Spanos. But that is my recap of Week 4. We're going to do breakdown real quick, going through the list of the games for Week 5. First and foremost, Thursday Night Football. Rams and Seahawks, divisional matchup. I expect this game to be entertaining for the most part. It's taking place in Seattle. Lumen Field. The 12s will be out. But I think the Rams go on the road and they win. I think the Rams go on the road and they win. Defensively, I think they get themselves a defensive touchdown. Offensively, I think this is a game where Deshaun Jackson ends up taking the top off the defense, plays a very good game. Furry might put 5 on it. Said, what if it's the LA Rams versus LA Chargers at SoFi Stadium in the Super Bowl? Well, to be honest with you, it's a coin flip of, what sort of fan base would be there. But that would be nice. But Rams, Seahawks, I'm leaning more towards the Rams. Uncultured Barbarian, put 5 on, said, love the recap vid, man. I giggled like a little kid every time I saw swearing Matt Ryan. Ain't that the truth? But I got the Rams winning over Seattle. Russell Wilson is 4-0 at home on Thursday Night Football. I think that changes this particular time. But honestly, I expect this game to be very close. It's either going to be Matt Gay kicking a game-winning field goal, or it's Seattle kicking a game-winning field goal. I think this comes down to the kicker at the end of this game. It's going to be very close. I'm leaning more towards the Rams, but who knows? At the start of the stream tonight, I may possibly change my mind. Jets and Falcons. Jets and Falcons. Oh man, this is a game between two teams that simply has no clue what direction they're heading in. Honestly, it being played in Atlanta doesn't matter. I really want to sit here and say Jets, but I think the Falcons will figure it out to come from behind. If the Falcons have a lead in the fourth quarter, they're going to lose. If the Falcons are trailing in the fourth quarter and the distance is between 7 or 10 points, I think they're going to win. It's really a toss-up, but I'm going to lean towards the Falcons. However, if they let me down, I'm not surprised. I just want to say that right now. I'm not surprised. 14 grams of crack. Said, who's going to even watch this game? That's a very good question. Oh, and the game's in London. Shit, this game's in London. It is in London. Ah, Lord. It's in London. I forgot. No, it's at 9:30 in the morning. I got to wake up early to do this. Wow. A game in London? Yeah, I'm going Jets because I want to make jokes about the Falcons blowing leads overseas. Give me the Jets. The Jets are getting on a jet. I think the Jets are going to get off the jet with a W. Give me the Jets. It's in London. Where it's played does not matter. I just want to be able to make jokes and say the Falcons blew the lead overseas as well. This game's in London. It's going to be played at 9:30. If you're on the West Coast, damn it, you better be up at 6:30. But who the hell wants to wake up that early to go and watch the motherfucking Falcons and the Jets? Falcons are losing. I'm sorry. The Falcons will rise up in the L train. Understand? Hey, toxic Falcons fan, I'm telling you right now. Your Falcons fixing to lose. If you need something to drink, here's some rum, brother. You're going to have a long morning. The Falcons are going to lose overseas. I'm sorry. Falcons are losing overseas. It's Falcons is losing overseas. If you're on the West Coast, don't wake up to watch football. You got a better chance just masturbating. You'll have a better time. Honestly, ain't nobody trying to watch the Falcons and the Jets, goddamn it. Give me the Jets. Both of them is on the road. It's in London. Give me the Jets. I really hope the Falcons have the lead in the fourth quarter and they blow it. I really do. I really do. I'm going to monitor this entire doggone game. Don't let this game end fast. I might do a separate commentary on this game alone. If the Falcons blow the lead, and it's one of them super leads that they blow, like when they got a 14-15, they got a 14, 21, 28-point lead, 25-point lead, and they blow the doggone lead, I'm doing a separate video on that. Y'all gonna get it during the goddamn day. 1 p.m., Falcons versus Jets. Matt Ryan and the Falcons blow it again. They losing overseas. I got to make sure I conserve my voice. I'm starting to feel my throat. Lions and the Vikings. Lions are on the road going to Minnesota. Let me tell you something. Lions still have not played a full football game. Give me Minnesota. They winning at home. They won 7 straight games against Detroit. Guess what? They're going to make it 8. Next up, on top of that, Detroit's secondary. Next, Saints at the football team. Honestly, Washington has allowed 30 points per game. They're the 5th lowest in the NFL right now. I don't know how to feel about the Saints. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip a coin. Because that's literally that's the Saints football this year. Heads, the Saints win. Tails, the Saints lose. 2 out of 3. Son of a bitch. I can't flip a coin. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip it, and it's going to be the catch place, and that's going to be what the thing. We're going to flip a coin. Heads, the Saints win. Son of a bitch. Tails, the Saints lose. Tails, the Saints lose. Saints lose to the Washington football team in the nation's capital because, damn it, I don't know how to feel about this motherfucking team. I do not know how to feel about the Saints. 1 week they good, the next week they bad. 1 week they can throw the football, the next week they can't. 1 week they can run the football, the next week they can't. 1 week they can stop the pass, the next they can't. 1 week they can stop the run, the next they can't. I don't know. They've adopted the damn philosophy of Jameis Winston. I don't know how to feel about them. And to make matters even worse, they signed Cody Parkey. If this comes down to a field goal and this man doinks it, I'm telling you right now, I am running to the nation's capital. I'm running to the nation's capital. I'm going to rip the Washington Monument from the stones and spear it into the heart of Sean Payton, the heart of Jameis Winston, and most importantly, the soul of Cody Parkey. If he has an opportunity to win the game and he doinks it. I thought I lost my voice before. You're not going to want to see me if Cody Parkey doinks another mother, somebody fixing to die. I'm telling you right now, somebody gonna die. I cannot confirm nor deny said sentiment. Chiseled Adonis is now endorsing. He's not endorsing nor imploring that he will be performing violence upon somebody. But nevertheless, somebody gonna die. I cannot confirm nor deny said sentiments. Next up, Patriots and the Texans. The Texans getting fucked. Next, the Dolphins and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers getting they're gonna destroy the motherfucking Dolphins. Well, what about every time Tom Brady plays against the Dolphins, he's actually lost to the Dolphins the most in his career. He's lost 12 times. Do I look like I give a fuck? Do I look like I give a fuck? The Dolphins are going to lose. It's gonna be a bad time. They're going to go out there with spears in hand and stab the motherfucking Dolphins like it's an episode of South Park. Fuck you, Delphine. That's what's going to happen. Tampa Bay is going to destroy the Miami Dolphins. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose big. It's going to be a bad time. Packers and Bengals, this is going to be an underrated game. This shouldn't even be an underrated game. This might mess around and be the game of the week. This might be the game of the week. I expect this game to be fireworks. Both teams are scoring over 35 points. I'm telling you that right now. Joe Burrow, best game of his season. Aaron Rodgers, best game of his season. This is going to be fireworks. And guess what? It's going to come down to the foot of Mason Crosby. Cincinnati has won 3 of the last 4 games. This game is going to come down to the foot of Mason Crosby. And you know what? Right now, I say Bengals win. You heard that? I say Bengals win. Mason Crosby shows up and he hits it off the upright. He's going to be the one who doinks it. I am saying that we're going to see the Cincinnati Bengals win in a thriller. I'm saying Bengals upset. I don't think the defenses show up at all in this game. I think it's going to be a Bengals upset. Both teams is going to score, punt, score. Aaron Rodgers is going to take them down the field. They're going to probably trail by 3 or trail by 1. Mason Crosby's going to have a field goal from, let's say, about between 40 and 44 yards. And he going to doink it off the motherfucking upright. That's what I think this game going to end. No, don't get me wrong. Crosby's been primarily clutch in his career. Don't get me wrong. But I think he going to doink it. I'm expecting this going to be a great game. But I think this comes down to a field goal and Crosby misses it. I'm not saying Green Bay going to get blown out. I ain't saying Green Bay going to get destroyed or outcoached or anything of that nature. This going to be a great back and forth game. But when they have a chance to win, this time around, Crosby ain't going to deliver. Andrew put 2 on and said, worst trade situation. Texans, 76ers, or Brooklyn? Brooklyn. Brooklyn, because you have somebody who doesn't want, in a sense, to play. The Texans have somebody who wants to play, but because of the legal situation, they can't. The Sixers have somebody who you're not too sure about his execution in clutch moments or times in which it matters when he's on the court. Brooklyn, you have a guy who you don't know if this guy even want to play with Kyrie. So I'll say that. But Packers, Bengals, I expect fireworks. I expect that to be a great game. I think that's going to be the game of the week. Broncos and the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I don't know how to feel. I'm torn. I'm fucking torn. I'm really torn. When Ben Roethlisberger plays against Denver, he, for the most part, always has a good game. But Ben has looked like ass this season. He's looked like absolute ass. I don't know how to feel about Pittsburgh. For Denver, I don't know if Bridgewater's going to play. I think they said all things point towards Bridgewater playing. The only way Pittsburgh wins this game is if the defense scores. And I think the defense will score. This is a game that comes down to Boswell. This is a game that comes down to Boswell. And I'm be honest with you. I'm optimistic, but I got to go to the coin. Tails, Steelers lose. Heads, Steelers win. I got to go to the coin. This can go either way. Tails, Steelers lose. Tails, Steelers lose. Give me Denver. Give me Denver. I'm going to do my prep talk. I'm going to talk about Pittsburgh, but my God. Denver might come on the road and beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh looks bad, man. Pittsburgh looks really bad. It's sad. Oh, God. It's tough. It's tough. Give me Denver. The coin said it. Give me Denver. Eagles and the Panthers. Hurts and both Darnold are ranked in the top 10 with combined pass and rush yards. Let me tell you something right now. If the Eagles don't give the football to Miles Sanders at least 15 times today, after the Panthers gave up over 200 yards on the ground against the Cowboys, I'm never picking Philly for the rest of this year. I'm going to choose Philadelphia to win on the road in Carolina. Mind you, a piece of me feels like this is a retarded decision. Everything in my mind says choose the Panthers. But for some reason, I feel like the Eagles are going to actually give the football to Miles Sanders, and he's going to run for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. If Miles Sanders, I'm going to keep getting closer to the camera. If Miles Sanders doesn't get over 15 carries, I am done with the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you understand me? I am done with the Philadelphia Eagles. If this is the Jalen Hurts show again, the Eagles are going 2-15. You understand me? They will not win another game until week 13. Give the fucking football to Miles Sanders. Please. He's not even on my fantasy team. Please. He is a spark in the offense that you so desperately need. Give him the football and you win this game. That's all I got to say. All things point towards the Panthers winning this football game. I'm just saying. All things point towards the Panthers winning this football game. But if Miles Sanders get the football over 15 times, get him to at least 20 carries, I think the Eagles win. I think the Eagles win. But don't give the brother the football. I need somebody fired expeditiously. Do you understand me? If you have epilepsy, my apologies. If you're having a seizure right now, I cannot, it ain't my fault. I'm not even really here. But I'm telling you right now, somebody in that front office got to go. A coach got to go. The owner got to go. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. Next up, Titans and Jaguars. Let me tell you something right now. Every time that Derrick Henry plays against the Jaguars, this motherfucker murders them. He's averaging over 100 yards. He's got 11 touchdowns in the last 10 games. Jacksonville's gonna get fucking fucked. If you got Derrick Henry on your fantasy team, see if you can start him twice, not only at the running back but also at the flex, because this man is going to go for 180 plus yards. He might just cross 220, 230, 240, because this motherfucker here destroys the Jacksonville Jaguars every time they play. I'm telling you right now, Tennessee is going to kill the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm telling you right now, you know what's funny? The first half is going to be competitive. But come that second half, Derrick Henry, as Booker T would say, he finna eat, because that brother gonna be destroying them on the ground. No defender formed against him shall prosper, and everybody gonna be screaming at the top of their lungs, "Oh, Henry!" I promise you, that's what's gonna be said at the end of this game. Big Bird said, I'm not going to talk about urban situation. Oh, I did. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Next up, Browns and the Chargers. Good game in Los Angeles. If there was ever a game that needs to be the barometer for Justin Herbert, it is this one. Last week, Monday Night Football, that's a big game against the undefeated Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, Gruden Grinders. He got the job done. Guess what? This time, game against Cleveland, give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers at home with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the 50-yard line screaming, and now go Chargers, go. Give me the Chargers. Justin Herbert is 7-1 in the last 8 games. He's got momentum. The Chargers are playing good football, and by golly, I don't like the way that Baker Mayfield's playing football, this year. He's inconsistent. He's good. He's bad. He's missing throws. He's connecting on throws. I don't know how to feel about the offense, the passing game. If the run game is there for Cleveland, there's going to be a closer game. If the run game is there for Cleveland, I would not be surprised if Cleveland wins. But if the Chargers stack the box and they say, I want Baker Mayfield to beat me, I do not, as good as Cleveland's defense is on paper. Man, let me tell you something. And damn it, Justin Herbert was under a little bit of duress from the Oakland line. So best believe Myles Garrett is going to have himself. Myles Garrett might just have himself a field day here. But damn it, I feel it in my soul. Give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers winning at home. Somebody plug in your charger. My phone been charging ever since I went live. Plug your phone in because and now go Chargers go. They gonna win. Bears on the road headed to the the OnlyFans harlots black hole. Raiders won 2 of their last 3 against the Chicago Bears, and guess what? They fixing to make it 4. I think the Gruden grind is gonna bounce back. But guess what? This is going to be the best game from Chicago's defense this season. I think Chicago defense, not only they're going to get a pick 6, I think they may get a fumble recovery for a touchdown too. That defense is going to score twice, but somehow Daniel Carlson is going to win the game on a field goal. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders. And Chucky and John Gruden going to be dancing once again. I'm taking the Raiders at home against the Chicago Bears. Cardinals and the 49ers. The Cardinals won the last 4 games. Longest streak since 2015. The 49ers don't even have a clue what the hell they want to do at quarterback. The Cardinals have scored over 30 points every single game thus far this season. They cannot be stopped. Kyler Murray has no signs of slowing down. The Cardinals are going to roll over the 49ers. It is going to be bad. It is going to be bad. The Cardinals finna eat. I'm telling you right now, Cardinals are going to roll over the 49ers. And now, if Jimmy G is starting at quarterback, he will be benched. Come week 6, Trey Lance will be named the starter moving forward. That's all I got to say about that. Cowboys and the Giants. Dallas has won 7 of 8, and guess what? They fixing to make it 9. The Giants don't stand a motherfucking chance. In hell, I'm lying. It's going to be a close game. I almost said Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what's gonna happen at the tail end of this game with 2:49 left on the clock? You know what's going to happen? The Giants are going to drive down the field. It's going to be about a 4th and 4, 26-yard line. They're going to trot out a man. That man is going to settle for a field goal. And he's going to give the Giants a 3-point lead. And everybody going to be saying, he's going to be saying, Ganolo, Gano, because he's going to give the Giants the lead. But unfortunately, they left too much time on the clock for Dak, and Dak's going to find CeeDee Lamb. Dak's going to find Amari Cooper. And then ultimately, it's going to be Dalton Schultz or it's going to be Blake Jarwin with 17 seconds left in the clock. Dallas is going to win. By golly, Dallas is going to win. Daniel Jones is going to have another great game. And guess what? That defense is going to fail him. That defense is going to fail him. Saquon Barkley, I think he'll actually have a very impressive game. I think Saquon Barkley is going to have at least 92 yards. He'll be over 100 yards all purpose. But Dak is going to put together a drive. And let me say this. Diggs, he's not a rookie. Illmatic, he's not a rookie. But Trevon Diggs, we know Daniel Jones is a turnover machine. He's done his job thus far this season not to turn the football over at such an accelerated pace. But if he gets back into his habit, Diggs is going to take that football away. And it's going to be a hell of a game. But Dallas is going to sneak away with a W. Bills and Chiefs, Sunday Night Football, rematch of the AFC Championship. Woo, we going to have ourselves a game. The Bills riding high off of smacking their last three opponents. The Chiefs, huge game after losing back-to-back weeks. I'll say this. This is the first real test for the Bills thus far this season. Because say what you want about week one, their loss to the Steelers. Ain't nobody know what's really going on in week one. The Chiefs' defense, they ass. And for that particular reason, that's why I'm saying, whoa, you gonna lose. Josh Allen and the Bills walk in to collect. They said, your rent is past due. I am here to report a W. And they taking the win in Arrowhead Stadium. Give me the Bills. Give me the Bills. They are winning on the road. Rematch of the AFC Championship. Give me the Bills. Give me Stephon Diggs. Give me Coleslaw Beasley. Give me Zach Moss. Give me Devin Singletary. Give me all them brothers. Josh Allen finna eat 400 yards. He gonna throw at the least through the air. They are gonna play great football. The Bills are winning Sunday Night Football in Arrowhead. And you could take that to the bank. The Bills went on the road. The Bills went on the road, and guess what? The Chiefs just made it back to 500. Not anymore, you're not. Not anymore, you're not. Give me the Bills. Kansas City's going to have a hell of a game, but defensively it's going to look just like what happened last week with Arizona and the what happened with Arizona and the Cardinals. I was about to say Cardinals. What happened with Arizona and Los Angeles. But it's not going to be as steep of a difference of a score. The Chiefs going to score some of the time. Hell, most of the time. The Bills, they're going to score all of the time. The Bills are winning. Ladies and gentlemen, take out your bank statements. Get ready to have them taken expeditiously because the Bills are going to win this Sunday. And that's all I got to say about that. Colts and Ravens on Monday Night Football. Let me tell you something right now. If the Colts do not score inside the red zone, they will lose. But for some apparent reason, in M&T Bank Stadium, this is on the soil of the Baltimore Ravens inside of Maryland. Give me the Indianapolis Colts to get an upset on the road. Oh, yes, I done said it. Give me the Indianapolis Colts on the road to get an upset. The Bengals will end week 5, number 1 in the division. I said it first here. The Bengals will move to 4-1. The Browns and the Browns and also the Ravens will drop to 3-2. Give me the Colts on the road in an upset. Give me the Colts on the road on an upset. I think they're going to get the job done. I think they're going to get the job done. The Ravens, say what you want, they could have been a 1-3 football team. They could have been a 4-0 football team. They could have been a 2-2 football team. Lamar Jackson, for all intents and purposes, is going to eat. But say what you want, the Colts, I think they get a W on the road. Oh, yeah, it's a bold take. It's a bold take. Give me Jonathan Taylor, gang of yards on the ground. Jonathan Taylor, 100 yards on the ground. Carson Wentz, you thought he had a good game last week? Watch what he does this week. Give me the Colts on the road. The Bengals will be number 1 in the AFC North at the end of week 5. And that's all I got to say about that. That is all I've got to say about that. Lamar Jackson ain't going to have a bad game. Carson Wentz just going to have a better game. Carson Wentz just going to have a better game. Give me the Colts. They win by 7. The Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens with 4th down on, let's say, the Colts' 35-yard line. They're not in a position where they can settle for a field goal. They got to take a shot. Lamar Jackson going to try to throw it to the end zone. It's going to get broken up. And you're going to see the Colts win on the road in I was about to say the Colts going to win on the road in Indianapolis. How the fuck that going to happen? That's where they from. They're going to win on the road in Baltimore. Give me the Colts. So these are my picks for week 5. Y'all let me know in the comment section who you think is fixing to win. Tonight, the Rams went on the road in Seattle. Russell Wilson takes his first L on Thursday Night Football. The Jets defeat the Falcons in London. Matt Ryan and the Falcons blow it overseas. Lions and the Vikings. Give me the Vikings at home. The Saints on the road playing against a football team. They are gonna lose because the coin flip told me to. That's what's gonna happen. They gonna lose. Patriots going to destroy the Texans. Buccaneers going to destroy the Dolphins. Bengals, upset alert, going to win against the Packers. Steelers taking an L against the Broncos. Panthers losing to the Eagles, led by Miles Sanders. Not Jalen Hurts. Miles Sanders. Not Jalen Hurts. Titans obliteration of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chargers, and now go Chargers, go into the W train with a win over the Browns. The Raiders defend home base in the revenge game of Khalil Mack and win at home. Cardinals obliteration song against the 49ers. Cowboys get their come from behind victory, clutch drive by Dak to win in Jerry World. The Chiefs take an L in Arrowhead Stadium, and take a look at the motion of what's happening with the hand. They're going to be doing the chop, but then it's going to be frozen here, and you're going to have to lower it here because your arm in the 90-degree perpendicular angle is going to signify that of an L, because that's exactly what the Chiefs are going to be eating. And then last but not least, the Ravens lose on Monday Night Football. The Colts walk away with a W. Sports King in the building says, how late am I? You are uber late, because we are at the end of the goddamn coverage of week 4 and a preview of week 5. So, I have been your host of tonight's show, and I'm going live for Thursday Night Football. I will see you guys in 3 hours, but if you want to accelerate the time, you would just have to head to the universe of JoJo Bizarre's adventure and just freeze time. I have been your host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis, and I will see you tonight.